In this lesson, we're going to learn Riff by Mighty Riff, 10,000 Years by Doom, Stoner, and Sludge Metal Gods, High on Fire. What's going on? Welcome to Beholden to the Riff. My name's Jared, and if you're a fan of heavy music, play bass, or just like what you see, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and rest easy, knowing you'll be getting the latest and heaviest bass lessons as soon as they're posted.
So as always, I recommend downloading the interactive tabs. These things are awesome. They're sunk up with the song. You can speed it up, slow it down, loop it. These things rule. So in this song, the bass is tuned to C standard. So grab your axe, tune down 2 whole steps, and let's do this. The song starts out with this extra thick, extra sludgy drum groove. It gets our heads bobbing by the second measure, really laying the perfect palette for our bass part. Check it out. So the riff is built around an F minor blues scale and features a ton of movement on the low E string. So we're going to be sliding all over the place on this one and really can turn into a slop fest and sound really muddy. In order to articulate each note, we need to focus on the timing of the slides as well as really sticking the landing of each one of the slides. Make sure we land on that right fret.
So here's that riff played a little slower. So one thing that really helped me out is using different fingers for each of the slides. I'll use the first finger on the first slide, second finger on the second slide, third finger on the third slide, fourth slide, I'm going to use that second finger. Check it out.
So at 1 minute, 17 seconds is one of the most massive and flat out heavy riffs ever recorded. The riff is simply perfection and stands out on its own and actually serves as sort of a vocal-less chorus.
So during the chorus, we're going to use a bunch of ham-ons instead of all those slides. So we got a few up here. Then we have a pull-off from the 11th going to the 10th fret. Then we're going to do a couple more hammer-ons to lead us into the second phrase of the chorus.
Check out the change in feel that occurs when we come out of that pummeling verse into the more spacious chorus. From here, we're going to play another verse section and another chorus section. Being that the riffs are just perfect, we play the same bass parts for each section, so you already know how to play that. So let's skip ahead to the next part of the tune. The next part comes in at about 2 minutes 53 seconds. We shift gears once again and go into this heavy psych jam led by the bass. It's been in my head all week while I was making this video. It's killer. Let's check it out.
All right, here's the first phrase. So that's kind of the main phrase of this section, and he keeps referring back to that in between parts. Here's where it gets really sweet. So this part is almost a riff within a riff. Here's the first half of the phrase played slowly. So we have sort of a pedal tone on the 12th fret here on the A string. Then underneath the pedal tone is that kind of riff within a riff idea. Here it is together. Here's the second half played slow. I like to finish it off with a slide from the 8th fret to the 10th fret, just so that you're ready to come into the beginning of the next phrase. This. So the next phrase starts and ends with the same idea. So it's during this section where we kind of dial back the playing, where we hang on one note, leaving plenty of space, and let the vocals really shine through. Here's that phrase in the middle, played a little slow. So next up is another one of those riff in a riff ideas. Check this out. So that part in the middle is really cool. Here it is nice and slow. This.
Here's the next 4 measures. Once again, doing that kind of riff within a riff idea. So we end with a slightly different variation on that bluesy descending run. Here it is one more time. This sounds a little thicker, a little tougher. So here's that last phrase of the bridge section. So here's the final 2 measures of the bridge section as we lead back into the verse riff.
At 3 minutes 50 seconds, we're going to do another verse-chorus combo, taking us all the way to 4 minutes 50 seconds. It's at this point where most songs would just fade out and call it a day, but we're not dealing with mere mortals here. This is high on fucking fire. And if you thought 3 genre-defying riffs was enough, buckle up for another extra thick and flat-out nasty bass groove that happens during the outro and during the guitar solo. Essentially, we're going to play 2 phrases during the outro, so let's go ahead and check out phrase 1. The riff actually changes meter and goes from a 4/4 feel to a 3/4 feel. If any of you check out the tab and are wondering why I went with 3/4 as opposed to 6/8, just check out the number of head bobs per measure, and that's usually a good indicator of the meter or the number of beats per measure. If there were 2 strong beats per measure, we would use the 6/8, but since there's 3, we're going to go ahead and use that 3/4. As Matt Pike rips a guitar solo, the bass part gets much more rhythmic and really doubles the drums, all the while outlining the chord changes that happened in the first phrase.
After that, he sticks to a more straightforward 8th note figure like this.
We go back to phrase 1 for the last part of the guitar solo, to be joined by the guitar later and double the part to close out this epic jam.
So instead of going phrase by phrase and breaking down every little variant, I'm going to play the whole thing just so you can get an idea of kind of what's going on.
much for checking out this video. It really means a lot. This channel exists for you, so any questions, any song requests, anything you want to learn whatsoever, just leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.